Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? Thank you very much. Firstly, I'd like to thank you all for coming. I know it's a hot day, and I know England are playing later, so thank you all for missing that bunch of nonsense anyway. Before we get started, I've got a couple of announcements to make. Firstly, Julie, every month she brings the light paper, various other truth bits and bobs. Please help yourself at the end and take some bits home. The other thing I've got is someone contacted me yesterday and they have a spare full adult ticket for Sounds Beautiful. They don't want any money for it. It's a free ticket. So if anybody here hasn't got a ticket and they want to go for free, come and see me. Yeah, come and see me afterwards and I'll get it sorted for you. So we've been doing this a long time. We've been doing this, we're coming up to our second birthday, as it were, which is next month, where we've got Dave Murphy again. But now, we've been working on this for quite some time. Without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to the one and only Mr. David Weiss. Give it up, a Flat Earth social welcome to Flat Earth Day.
Thank you. Thank you. My first number tonight is going to be Fool on the Hill by the Beatles for karaoke, Flat Earth karaoke. Hey, I ever heard a rumor, and I want to know, can you guys tell me if it's true, that you guys have a ball game tonight, right? Is it football? Football, also known as soccer. At halftime, the power plants have to crank up the power because everyone's making tea. Is that true? That's crazy. So I'm in the room with a bunch of people that think the earth is flat. What is wrong with you? I mean, it's crazy that, we've looked into both models. We know both models. And all the people that don't know their own model and have a false idea what flat earth is, think we're crazy. So much so that they refuse to look. They refuse to look. Hats off to the controllers. They did an amazing job. They did an amazing job brainwashing people to the point where they refuse to look. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So a few things I want to go over tonight, and then I'm going to, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, I'm in. I want to talk about flight times. Right? One of the big arguments that Globers make is, well, you can fly from, New York to Germany, and it's the same amount of time as going from Santiago or South America to Australia or whatever. And on the flat earth map, it's like twice the distance. So how does that happen? And the analogy I give is like, hey, if I was driving across the United States at the same time as my grandmother was driving across the United States, but she's only going halfway, I'm going all the way across, who's going to get there first, right? I'm driving faster than she is. I'm going to get there before she does. In the South, there's air currents that go over 200, 300, 350 miles an hour. There's documents on them from, decades and decades ago, but now they're very hard to find those documents, that they're well documented. I flew in this morning, or last night, and our plane left an hour late, but we landed 20 minutes early. Every time you're on an airplane, if it leaves the gate late, you still get there on time. Am I cutting in now? There we go. That's better. And so, how does that happen? So a lot of people don't realize that every single day there's 1,000 weather balloons released at the exact same time worldwide, twice a day. And those things all feed the information on all the wind currents to a supercomputer. They know exactly where these currents are. If your planes are delayed, which happens all the time, there would be chaos. There wouldn't be gates open. Everything would just spiral and no planes would get off anywhere. So AI literally looks and says, okay, this plane needs to make up an hour. We're going to put them 5,000 feet higher. We're going to put them in this tailwind, 250 miles an hour. It's going to take them to their location and get them there on time or sooner. So without knowing all of that, air travel would be worse than it is. So flight times, that's a big one. And if you look at the trolls, the anti-flat earthers, they are very disingenuous in their arguments. They've been at this for years, and they use the same stupid arguments. Like, the flight times, no pilot thinks the earth is flat. There's pilots in this room. I have friends that are American Airlines pilots, Qantas pilots, Delta pilots, that are all flat. They know. But you can be a pilot and not know the Earth is flat, right? So pilots, when you're coming into an airport, they have to calculate the rate of descent so they get to the airport's right there. Our pilot announced today that we're starting our descent. That means he's calculated his rate to descent 225 miles from Heathrow. That's 6 miles of curvature. So if he did not calculate the rate of descent, he'd be 6 miles high, which is higher than cruising altitude, when he got over Heathrow. If he doesn't calculate that curve, how the hell is he gonna land? And when you're landing on a east-west runway, either the runway is running away from you or running towards you, all right, that's kind of fun. But landing on a north-south runway, it's going sideways, up to 1,000 miles an hour, right? If you took off in like northern Alaska, your runway before you take off on a spinning Earth is moving like 300 miles an hour sideways. 300 miles an hour in a circle, right? You fly to Ecuador to land on a north-south runway, it's moving sideways at over 1,000 miles an hour. Where do you get that tangential speed from? How does that happen? And what if you did a U-turn and came and landed in the other direction? Now, how's that happen? I mean, when you cross over the North Pole, you got to change your direction. I mean, minds short circuit, especially people that believe they live on the globe. You mention this stuff to them, they're lost already. They're totally, completely lost because we weren't taught to think. We were taught to memorize and regurgitate. Intelligence in our world is people that can memorize and regurgitate. And if you do it really well, you can become a teacher, a professor, and you can teach the next generation. You can even add to their books of nonsense that they force us to learn and memorize and test us on and make that our truth. So it used to be in 2014, 15, 16, when I first got into this, the attacks were horrible. But now you mention flat Earth to somebody, they're like, I've heard something about that. And they're willing to have a conversation. We're reaching that collective consciousness. And it's all of our jobs to talk to everybody. And a lot of people are like, I can't do it, I get attacked, people make fun of me. Just ask questions, People say, what's the best way? What's the best thing to do when someone asks? Depends on the person. It could be the Bible. It could be airplane routes, emergency landings. It could be no curvature. No curvature is what got me. So that's all I want to say about airplanes. Disingenuous arguments I was talking about. Another one that the Globers use, and here's a tactic they use. When I say Globers, there's different types of people. There's people that are ignorant. We're all ignorant. Anything you don't know, you're ignorant, okay? I would say we're all ignorant to the flat Earth until we learned about it, right? There's many things that we're all ignorant to. You guys are ignorant to what's in my pocket. There's actually nothing in my pocket. But so ignorant isn't a bad word. It's just you don't know. And so these Globers will say there's no proof of flat Earth. There's millions of proofs of the globe, but what are they? And when you bring up something, they're like, well, what about how the sun sets? Now these are the anti-flat earthers. These are the ones that aren't ignorant. They've been studying this for years. They've been fighting it for years. And either they're just disingenuous liars or they're really, really brainwashed and lost. I go back and forth on, them, but we don't need to focus our energy on that. But the one big one is how does the sun set? Especially over water, right? It disappears from the bottom up. And it's all due to perspective, right? And it's hard. I need a prop holder. We're gonna use one of your light newspapers. Just hold that like that, all right? Hold over here, there you go. All right, so we'll just use my fist, okay? So my fist was the sun, right? And as it goes away, it sets from the bottom up. But that's clear. Did everybody see that? It sets from the bottom up, right? And I'm keeping it the same height. All right, thank you. Thank you, well done. But that's clearly over your eye line. So what do flat earthers say? The horizon always, Robin, rises. It rises to meet your eye level. That's a lie, okay? It appears to meet your eye level. And it's not, what is the horizon? The horizon is the ground meeting the sky. So the sky comes down to appear at eye level, and where the ground, and it meets the ground, and it appears at eye level. but the horizon's never at eye level. It can never actually reach eye level if you could see infinitely far, because it would just keep on going farther and farther. But it's actually thousands and thousands of feet above your eye level, but you can't tell. So the example I give is if you're like in the middle of a city. I'm in New York City, 42nd Street, it's a 50-story building right there, and it's noon. I'm looking at the sun, I'm standing next to this building, it's noon, and then the sun just moves away, 1 o'clock. I can't see it now, it's behind the building. I know it's still up in the sky, because it's just behind the building. I can go up to the top of the building and see it again. If I could float up in the air, I can see it again. Or I can go backwards a couple miles, 20 miles, right? Now I can see the sun again, and that building is down there. That building, the top of that building looks like it's at my eye level. Now, even if the earth was curved, 20 miles, 50-story building, it wouldn't be over the curve. But the top of that building now looks like it's at eye level. The top of that mountain that's thousands of feet above your head looks like it's at eye level in the distance. And it all gets compressed into that. And so you're way back when you're at the base of a mountain, 3,000 feet over your head. Wow. The sun goes beyond it. I go back 20 miles. That mountain is now at it appears to be at my eye level, but we know it's still thousands of feet above my eye level. The sun's above it, it does just what I did with that newspaper, and it looks like it disappears from the bottom up. You think, you've been brainwashed to think that curved line, and it is curved, is the horizon of a ball. Because that's what everyone's pre-assuming, they're presuming it's a ball. So the sun is doing the same thing as it did with the building, it just goes beyond. What's it going beyond? On the clearest of days, the atmosphere, when you're looking up, you're looking through, just the thin layer of atmosphere. When you look 45 degrees, you're looking through maybe 2 or 3 times that amount of atmosphere. When it's way down there, you're looking through all atmosphere. And over distance, that atmosphere becomes opaque. And it all gets compressed into that horizontal eye zone, which we call the horizon. And the sun is a celestial, I came up with a new word, celestial, it's a combination. Celestial, and it just goes beyond it. And when it goes beyond it, it disappears from the bottom up, just like the sun did over the mountain, over the building. But it appears to be at your eye level. You can see this. Like if you're on the water and there's land which is above the water and then hills and trees, that tree line, if you're right near the shoreline, is up there. Go out a couple miles, that tree line looks like it's at your eye level. Go far enough away you can't even see the trees. It just becomes a layer. It becomes a line, that horizontal eye zone. And a celestial object goes beyond it, disappears from the bottom up. Question?
I've got a question. Just on that horizon thing. Explain that again, because my interpretation is the horizon rises to the eye level of the observer regardless of the height. Explain to me why it's compressed down and it's not at my eye level. I didn't understand that.
It looks like it's at your eye level. That's just how our eyes work. We have these convex eyes. Anything above the middle of your eye comes down, and anything below comes up. And it all meets at that line. So, look at a city skyline from 30 miles away. The tops of the buildings look like they're at your eye level. Right? They can go so far away you can't even see them anymore, and it just becomes a line. A line, the horizon, even the anti-flat earthers say the horizon is an apparent position. It's not an actual position. It's just your horizontal eye zone. Some people get pissed when I say that. They're like, what a horizontal eye zone? That's what horizon, that's what it is. It's your horizontal eye zone. And when you're standing next to perfectly calm water on a clear day, you can look at that line and it's curved. And your programming says that's because it's a ball. That's the edge of a ball. But if we were on a ball or a flat earth, there's only so far that you can see where the sky and the ground will meet and your eyes can't see beyond that. Now you can zoom in and open that up and see farther. We'll get into that in a second. But whatever that distance is, let's say it's 10 miles or 50 miles or 3 miles, doesn't matter. If I'm looking straight forward, 12 o'clock, the distance where that becomes a line, and I can't discern any more distance or height or depth. That's my horizon point. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4, right? And it makes a big curved circle. Like if I had my head in the middle of a hula hoop, that hula hoop is the edge of my vision. It's not a sphere. I'm just seeing a flat circle. And our programming tells us it's a sphere. And other people will literally cut you off from your family and friends and go, you're an idiot, right? You're an idiot because they were taught it's a sphere. It's obvious it's a sphere. We're spinning and whirling, you know, and all of that. And that's ridiculous. Now, people say, well, then they say, after you explain that and they just dish gallop or whatever it's called to the next topic, they go, well, how come you can never zoom the sun back in? Well, there's two reasons. One, the sun is going beyond that. Like my hand, when I went behind that newspaper, I don't care if you have the fake Hubble telescope, you can't zoom through that newspaper and see my hand again because it's behind it. But where the sky and the ground meet, if there's a boat or a building or something there, you can zoom in and open that aperture up and see it again. To a point. It becomes a point where you really can't see any farther. And it becomes that point. Another thing, and I have some videos, and they're on the app also on Boats Over the Horizon. Next time you're at the water and there's like maybe some objects, an island or whatever. I live in Connecticut. I don't know if that means much to you guys. And there's an island from the beach where we walk around all the time that's about a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile out. And then 25 miles past that is the New York City skyline. But if I look at all of the water between me and New York City, that island is taking up 95% of it. That island, 95% of the water I see is the island. And then just that little bit that I can measure is the next 25 miles. It's a little hard once you're at the water and you see that, you realize that everything just compresses. Not only does it compress top to bottom, side to side, it compresses side to side, and front to back it compresses. So everything's compressing. And so if a boat goes half a mile out to that island, it gets smaller. Then if it goes a half a mile out again, it gets half that size again, just because of perspective. But it's only, it went out to the boat, it went this far out, and then another half mile is only this much farther, and it's getting smaller. And then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. The boat keeps getting smaller, but the depth of my vision doesn't go any farther. It just gets smaller until it disappears. Now, the right aperture, you can zoom in and see it again. The reason it disappears from the bottom up is because the water is rarely flat. Only large bodies of water that are contained at complete and total rest lie flat, but there's tides and waves and everything, and those tiny little waves in that foreground will hide a city skyline, even if they're below your eye level. I have there's a video on the Boats Over the Horizon section right near the top. I encourage you to watch a couple of those, and you'll remember this conversation after you watch those, and you'll be like, now I get it. Some of you get it, some of you are thinking about it. And again, this is something that they didn't teach us in school, to actually think. They taught us to memorize, agree, and regurgitate, and if you challenge them, you don't get a good grade. And then, then people look down upon you. Sun under clouds, that's another disingenuous argument. Let me see if I can do this here. On the app, if you go to you know what I mean by the sun under the clouds? They argue, like, look, the bottoms of these clouds next to this mountain are lit from underneath when the sun is down below the clouds. Now, that sun isn't below the clouds. For example, if you ever stood next to an overpass, I don't know, 20, 30 feet over your head, and you can see the sun under it, it's late in the afternoon. Is that sun below the overpass? No, it's not. It's high up in the sky, but perspective makes you be able to see it underneath, right? So if you just type in sun under, let's type in sun under. There we go. Sun view, done. Here's one that took this picture with Ian in Mexico. This is on top of the fives. Okay?
I was far too drunk for that.
Yeah. So they'll argue that, hey, they're looking under the clouds, but this debunks that because this sun is clearly under the clouds according to the Globers, but only the tops of those clouds are lit. The bottoms are dark. That's because they're nice, thick, opaque clouds, right? Again, here, it's if you look at the tops of these clouds, up here you can see, it's a little easier to see in the picture, the tops are lit, even though the sun is way down there. It's just a way, it's all perspective. Whoops, they didn't teach you to look at that. The tops of those clouds are lit again, right? The tops are lit again, and the sun is way down there. Again, the tops are lit. Now look, there's these clouds here. You might go, oh, the bottoms are lit, but the thicker clouds, the bottoms aren't lit. It's when you have a thin, the only time you'll see those lit bottoms are the thin clouds, and you're just seeing the sun coming through the clouds. Occasionally, in the perfect situation, there could be like a lake, and the sun is bouncing off the lake, hitting the bottoms of some dark clouds, and you get a skim that way for a short period of time. But this here debunks that. So if anyone ever brings that up, open your app, type sun under, show them that, and ask the person to explain that. They'll most likely short circuit and call you an idiot, and then they'll, and then then you go make a new friend. And that's another thing, we don't reject people for not believing in the flat earth, but don't drain yourself. Just ask questions, just, mention things, ask them questions, different things motivate people. I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof to say, hey, this idiot's offering 3 Bitcoins, help me, I'll split it with you, right? Help me, and then make them watch A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth 21 Questions, right? And then they're screwed once they watch that.
What?
What's that?
What?
All right, and then I want to talk about at one point. How many of you are familiar with the current thing with Will Duffy, the pastor, and the final experiment? Yeah. Some of you are, some of you aren't.
Explain it.
So this pastor popped up out of nowhere a few months ago, and he's got the whole mystery, the final experiment. He's gonna pay for a glober and a flat earther to go to Antarctica and film the 24-hour sun. And filming the 24-hour sun would be an issue for the flat earth. Now, it doesn't prove that the earth is a globe because there is no curvature, there is no rotation, none of it makes any sense, but it is a problem for the flat earth model, that's for sure. And we don't believe that there is a 24-hour sun. So this guy came out of nowhere, very disingenuous. We caught him lying a few times. He, just in short, he was a financial advisor with securities for just a couple of years. He had 2 lawsuits where he paid $250,000 just recently. He has a 3rd one with violations against California and Colorado and the SEC, and he could be going to jail. But all of a sudden, he's putting all of his time and spending $150,000, $200,000 to do this final experiment. He's up to no good here. And we're all calling him out on it. And there's also some other crazy allegations which aren't proven yet, but it's getting really weird. But here's the thing, here's what I think is gonna happen. There are a lot of people talk about the sun simulator. I don't believe that they're gonna put a sun simulator in the sky, but I do believe they can put a projection of a bright spot into the clouds. Easily done. Project Bluebeam, it might not even be that complicated. And if the sun sets in Antarctica, boom, globe is disproved. That's what they agree upon. But if the sun goes down behind, and when you're looking at the horizon, just like there's always a haze, there's always clouds at the horizon. The sun could go behind there. They could change it, put a a bright spot there, and it would not be a clear sun. It would just be a bright spot. It would still be daylight because on the flat Earth, this time of year in December, it is light 24 hours a day in Antarctica. That's a whole nother thing. But we all agree that works on a flat Earth. And then the sun will skirt around. Now, anybody that goes down will say that doesn't count. But what they're gonna do is they're gonna run with it. They're gonna say flat earthers prove the globe, 24-hour sun, but they don't like the results. And then the mainstream media will broadcast this everywhere, even though we said, even though it's not proof. So we're being very careful. Jaron and Austin are considering going, and one of the things we're doing is we're going to show them a whole bunch of examples of what the sun would look like that we will not accept and get them to agree to it beforehand. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on with that. I want to talk about the app for a little bit, and then I want to answer your questions. All right?
Can I just go back to that Pastor Duffy thing? The whole point of the experiment, of course, if you can imagine a spinning globe, at the bottom of the globe is, they say, Antarctica, and they're expecting the sun. What they tell us is the globers believe that the sun goes around that small little Antarctic,
so it goes behind their heads all the way around.
All the way around.
Just like it does in the north. Now on the flat earth, the sun does go around you in the north, been filmed hundreds of times, thousands of times. People have witnessed it, but you can't find anybody that's filmed it or seen it in the south. It wasn't until 2014, 15, or 16 that southern sun, 24-hour sun videos have come out. All of a sudden, when we're complaining that there isn't one, they came out fake, provably fake, and admittedly fake, some of them. But the Globers just ignore that. They just, if you ignore it and don't acknowledge it, it doesn't exist. That's how they look at it. Right? Another, just jumping back, is that anything you want to say on that?
Yeah, I just say that with the Antarctic thing, you do get, in Antarctica, you do get 24-hour daylight. But that is not caused by the sun being in its location. It's caused by it's called a caustic coffee cup.
Coffee cup caustic.
And it's very, very bizarre how light works when it's down against perhaps the dome and the way it affects the light.
If we live in a dome, as the sun goes out to the dome, the light will wrap around the dome. We have experiments where we have, a dome, glass dome, we bring a light, bring it to the edge. It makes the exact same shape that our light patterns make when you put them on an AE map. Right? So on a ball, there's a required amount of curvature depending on the size of the ball. Right? This photo here, those mountains in the distance are 700 miles away. Calculating for the height of the observer, according to the globe math, rounding down, giving them the benefit of the doubt, over 50 miles of missing curvature. 50 miles! You can't even fathom what 50 miles of curvature is. And the answer that they would give if they addressed this, the only one they could give is, they're refracting up and they stop magically at eye level. Perfectly. And the ones over on the left where the question mark is, those are farther, right? But we can still see them. This is crazy, right? This photo alone, but they just won't acknowledge it. You're fighting with children when it comes to this. All right, so how many of you don't have my app? If you did get in here without having my app, get out.
And they've all got your app, haven't you?
Yeah, it's all right if you don't. It's all right if you don't. So how many of you don't have a cryptocurrency wallet and hate cryptocurrency, or hate it? Anybody? Don't have a crypto wallet? Don't know how to get a crypto wallet? It's fine. It's fine. Cryptocurrency is here. It's not going away. It's not the devil. It may be created by the CIA, maybe it is. They created the internet, but we're taking advantage of the internet. They created Zoom, but we're using Zoom, right? We're doing all of these things for our benefit. And there is, if we play on their ball field with their fiat dollars, we lose. We have to play by their rules. So we need to get off there. Now, I'm not telling you when to give up anything. I'm not telling you when to buy anything. But we've added a crypto to the app that you can get for free. And I want you all to do it. It's so easy. The worst case scenario is, for those of you that raise your hand, is you're going to learn how to create a wallet and move crypto. And for free. It's easy. It's super easy. Right? So if you go into the friend finder, which is the handshake button, and you click the upper middle button, right? That brings you to the referral section. And in the referral section, you can create your referral code, and you just hit that little pencil, make it something easy. Whenever you tell someone about the app, they use your referral code, and you get a point. And so those points, put you on the board, and you can use them for a free subscription or whatever. But now, coming at the end of the summer, for every point that you have, and at every you will get, I think it's 1,000 dome. What is dome? Well, it's dome in the sky. The sky is the limit with dome. Dome is just like Dogecoin. You've all heard about Dogecoin, except it has a use case, and its use case is it's monetizing truth. For every person you wake up to Flat Earth that gets the app, it releases 1,000 dome coins, and they go into your wallet for free, no obligation. Do whatever you want with them. You can hold on to them. Maybe they'll be worth something one day. Maybe they won't, but they'll be worth something on the app. You'll be able to do stuff with them. You'll be able to, like if we have other meetups, maybe get you free admission here, whatever it is, and more than that. But I think that, you know, if you know anything about crypto, it's the community, it's the energy behind it, it's the use case. This has everything. And you know what? We kind of did this, like, this will be fun. This will be a fun little project, right? Kind of fun, you know, maybe nothing come of it. Every single big crypto guy we've shown this to, they're like, I love it. I love it. And they're buying bags of it. We're like, don't buy any yet. Don't buy any, right? They're buying it. So I don't want you to buy it. I want you to just.
Are they buying Dome?
People are buying Dome. It's got like
Really?
it's crazy. It's
And we can get it for free on that.
You can get it for free, right? And
It's my kind of crypto.
there's a whole bunch of so on the bottom where it says Dome, if you click that, it'll take you to the website, and you can just learn about it. I believe there's a video on here, right here, that'll teach you how to create a wallet. There's a wallet called a MetaMask wallet. Just type in to YouTube how to get a MetaMask wallet. You can learn it in 5 minutes. It's free. Set it up, right? Then get your wallet and put it in where it says MetaMask. Anyone that even if you have zero referrals, if your MetaMask wallet's in there at the end of the summer, when we do our airdrop, you're gonna get free Dome. It's gonna just go to your wallet. And any referrals you get that you have, you're gonna get a certain amount of Dome for them, and any ones you get in the future. So you'll just start accumulating this. Maybe nothing happens. Maybe it's worth, you know, well, the nightmare that Matt, my co-host on the Flat Earth podcast, have is, like 4 years from now, we look at each other and we go, did we really give out $10,000 per referral? Now, I'm not claiming anything, all right? Who knows what could happen, but try it. You'll learn something at best or at worst, and who knows? Who knows what could happen with it?
Excuse me, Doug.
Yes.
Can you just go back one step? I just wanted to follow through on my app, just how to get.
So hit the friend finder, and then on the top left there's 3 buttons. The middle one is your referral button. The middle button there. Let me see.
Got it.
There you go. And then what do you have a random number for your referral? Change it. What's your name?
Paul.
Maybe try Paul. Maybe Paul's taken. Put Paul 1. Whatever. So something. So when you're talking to Flat Earth about somebody, and somebody goes, "Where did I get the app?" and you show them, the first thing that pops up is says, "Do you have a referral code?" Say, "Use my code," and they can remember instead of 179,428, they can remember Paul, right? And then you get the points, and it'll be a fun conversation we have in a couple of years from now, especially since crypto looks like it's going into another cycle of a bull market. Couldn't be a better time to try it, especially since it costs you absolutely nothing.
Thanks, Doug.
All right?
Thank you.
And there's not a lot of people that have put theirs in. By the way, all of the referrals that people have right now, if they don't put their code in there, for example, if I go to the leaderboard here, the top is, where is it? Come on. And it's not working.
Internet's pretty slow.
This is also a test version, yeah. But the leaderboard, a guy named Caleb, who's on TikTok, had some videos go viral. He's got, how many does he have? Like
2,000?
2,000 or something. So if he doesn't put his code in there, all of the Dome, 2,000 times 1,000, goes into a pool, and then it gets distributed between everyone else that just put in their free MetaMask wallet. So do it. You have nothing to lose. All right. So that's that. And then I'll talk about 2 new features, and anyone has any questions. The next important one is the Meetup Maker. All right. So you click the Meetup Maker, and if I say sort by date, and I'll just go for today's date, and look what we have. We have, come on, sort by date, search. Why isn't that going? We
Just do,
let's try search, and of course it's not going. Let's try this. I'm gonna switch devices. Did that show up?
it's coming.
There we go. There we go. So Meetup Maker, sort by date, and I'll go to today's date, and here we are, Flat Earth Social. So if you didn't know about it, here it is, and then you can swipe this. That's the only one that's today. But if I say show me all of them in the next 2 months, it's going to show me everyone on Earth. Here, look, here sounds beautiful. That's coming up. And so all the information's there. But what people have to do is on this, on the bottom where it says alert me of local meetups, click that, put in whatever radius you want, however far, hey, alert me with 100 miles, 500 miles, and put in your email address, and you get an email letting you know, hey, someone just created a meetup, might be small, but it's right down the road from you, and then you won't miss it. So I think that's going to be a super powerful tool for that, and you can create your own meetup. The other one is the heart button, which is the matchmaker if you're looking for some single friends. So I'm a male, and I have my birth date as 2024, that way I won't show up in anyone's searches because I'm only 1 year old. And I say I'm looking for a female. Sorry, Paige. Right? And I've got an age range, I say search. And there's 60 people within the radius I did, and it's right now we're making it load, so it loads a couple pages at once, but it's a little slow at loading. And you can just go from page to page.
Look, hold on, let's see who these people are.
Yeah, you can see, just different people and find out, you have more in common with every single blue dot on here than anyone you're going to meet anywhere else, right? Everybody's awake and aware and on the same page mostly, and it's a great way to meet people. You set your radius. I have mine set for 5,000 miles, so there's people everywhere. I can set it to, let's say, 100 miles. Let's say, hey, listen, I'm dead. Right? If I set it for 100 miles, there's two. It's brand new, so there's more people. Like in the next few months, there's going to be.
That person's not here, are they? By the way.
Yeah, these two people should be here. Right? But I encourage, if you want to go on here and do it, put a nice picture in, put information about yourself, post some stuff on your wall. Like if you scroll down, I'll go to my profile real quick. If I go on my wall, down here you can post things, right? You can post stuff on your wall so people can go check you out. It's kind of like Facebook, and they can see stuff. And again, if you want to really put yourself ahead of everyone else, when people look at the flipping through these pages, the yellow icon there, that's a real man. That's a guy that's got a lot of referrals, right? So the higher your icon is, the more attractive you are to other flat earthers. Just putting it out there, just throwing it out there, right? Ian is a shrimp, just so you know.
I have one referral.
Yeah, one referral. So he might not be that hot of a prospect. Any questions? App questions, flat earth questions, Dave questions, Paige questions? Bring the mic out.
I'm doing the mic. First of all, I want to say it's actually my birthday today, so I'd love a flat earth. Happy birthday.
You should be celebrating the day your parents made you, not the day that you came out of your mother's private part.
I wasn't there for the consummation for that.
No, you were.
Not to my memory.
All right.
It wasn't really a question, it's more so like food for thought. So I was curious as to why, if I was like the government or NASA, I would look at Flat Earth and I promote them as a cult, and I never ever see that. And I feel like that's something that they should do to deter people from looking at Flat Earth.
Ask the end of that question again.
So if I were like a government body or NASA, for example, I would promote Flat Earthers as being a cult, because that would deter people away from it. Like Scientology, how that's put in a negative spotlight for some things. And I'm just curious as to why you think perhaps they don't do something like that.
Well, they kind of do, but if you come to Sounds Beautiful, that's not a flat earth conference. It's, like I spoke at Anarchapulco and 99% of the people there were flat. It was like, blew me away. I'm looking forward to this. I'm betting less than half the people at this festival are flat. So Ian and I are gonna, and Dave Manna, who spoke here, right? And Dave Murphy, we're gonna turn every single person into a flat earther. And when they're there, after we turn them into a flat earther, we're going to make them put their hand on the flat earth Bible, and we have an oath that they have to read, and then they get a button. So we're making it a cult. We're making it a cult.
Are you legit going to do that? Because I would do that.
We are legit going to do that. And the only way you get it, we have little flat earth pins that you get. So then as you walk around, you'd be like, you're in the club. Hey, Paige. Oh, you got it already. Good. That was our signal for her to go get something. All right, not yet.
Yeah, sadly it's going to be turned into a cult. But
but they do everything they can. Like you Google flat Earth, you get nonsense. You know, I've kind of broken the algorithm where I'm on so many different shows that they don't know how to hide stuff. But if you search flat Earth, even like you search Dave Weiss or flat Earth sunsets, you get Professor Dave, you get Simon Dan, you get all of these anti-flat earthers, you get all of this stuff that's pushed to the top. That wakes up enough people there. People are like, wait, why is this stuff showing up? Why is propaganda showing up? And if you want to find new flat Earth stuff, the app is the best way, but you can just filter your search to newest, and then you'll see what was uploaded that day. But again, if you search me, now I actually start coming up because I'm in so many different, shows that are not flat Earth shows. It's working. So once we get there, so yeah, they're doing everything. They call us a cult. They call us science deniers when we're the ones that hold science's feet to the fire, right? Being a glober, I go, why do you think you're at the globe? They go, science and physics, okay, and all of the proofs. Like which ones? I don't have to tell you. Right? All of them. Just look around. I'm like,
Gravity.
it's crazy. Gravity, refraction, right? But Globers do get one thing right. They go, you're a flat earther, you're probably a friggin' vaccine denier. I'm like, you got that one right. All right.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that if you search David Weiss, there's an attorney as well that comes.
Oh yeah, he's not happy. But that's all right. Well, unfortunately, not enough people are searching for him because he's not that interesting and ending up on me. But a lot of people are ending up over there, and people are commenting. It's kind of funny.
I have to mention, I think about 15 years ago, I did a search, and at that time there were 800 David Weisses in the United States. So it's like the Jim Smiths or the John Smiths of the world. There's a lot of David Weisses out there, so you're going to see a lot
And you
of
chose this one?
crossover.
Hey, and you chose this?
I chose her. I actually, she didn't exist before I manifested her. That's another thing they don't want us to know. She has this whole memory of her life before meeting me. Nothing. Didn't exist. Go ahead.
Hi. What was your lightning bolt moment when you looked into this? What did it for you?
Yeah, so I've told the story a million times for those of you that watch me. It's I was doing a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, looking into all the other deceptions, and people was like, okay, flat Earth. I'm like, you're an idiot, banned for life. And then Sophia Smallstorm, I was having a conversation with her. We're talking about some stupid fake shooting event that happened, and I said to her, and this was my moment. I said, Sophia, there's so much deception in this world. It's mind blowing. She goes, oh, David, it's worse than that. I think the Earth might be flat. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And she goes, here, watch this. And she sent me Mark Sargent's clues that had just started coming out, and a couple other videos. And I said, I'm going to watch these. And I didn't go in as an investigator. I went in as, this is stupid. I'm going to disprove it and put these people to shame. And for 2 weeks, YouTube at that time kept feeding me, like, oh, you like that? Here, look, here, watch it. And they kept feeding me stuff. So yeah, YouTube is responsible for waking up a lot of people because their algorithm worked. They fed them what they were looking for, which is real information, not confirmation bias, actual information, right? You flat earthers, you'll never change your mind. No, we changed our mind. We were Globers. We changed our mind based on new information. Globers will never change their mind. They all, moon landing is real. Vaccines are good. The Earth is a globe. You're an idiot. Evolution is real. They all have the same friggin' story. So my moment is I grew up in the same town on the water. I live, I'm in the water all the time, and boats over the horizon. So I bought a P900 that just came out, and I went down to the beach. It was a perfectly clear day, and I zoomed in on things that should have been well below the curve, and I could see them. And I'm like, okay, curvature formula's wrong. And I went to the debunking sites, the flat earth debunking sites, and they said, well, you're not over the curve, you have to share the curve. You're halfway over and the thing's halfway over, so instead of 60 feet of curvature, there's only 30 feet of curvature. I'm like, that's stupid, but okay. And so 30 feet of curvature, I can still see people on the beach. I'm like, that's wrong, right? And so then, optics got even better with infrared, and we can see too far. I'm like, okay, Earth is just bigger. We have observations where we can see things that would require the Earth to be over 1,000 times bigger than they have it. So if it's 1,000 times bigger, maybe there's 1,000 more continents, 1,000 times the number of continents. So what's that, 7 or 8, 9,000 continents? That's a problem. And then, and the whole big Earth thing doesn't work for when you go around the Earth at the equator, flying east or west. You only go a certain distance. If that's actually the equator, you know, you kind of know how big the Earth is.
What was yours? What was your moment, Thunderbolt moment?
Well, I'm still looking into it now. So when you said about Mark Sargent, I haven't heard of that.
So Mark Sargent is one of the first guys who came out. He was a conspiracy guy, and he was bored one day, and he said, "All right, what the hell's out there? Oh, flat Earth." You know, he kind of ignored it a couple times. He's like, "No, let me look into this." He goes, "Huh." And he tried to debunk it, and he couldn't do it. He goes, "You know what? I'm just not smart enough." And he put out a couple of videos called Flat Earth Clues, and asking a question. He figured some PhD would come back and go, "Oh no, here, this is how it's done." And he put out a clue after clue after clue after clue, and nobody came back. Nobody had a legitimate answer. And he's like, "This is weird." And the way to become a flat earther is try to debunk it. Actually try to debunk it. Don't, you know, Google will lead you down a hallway that will make you feel stupid, and then you'll stop looking. You know, Google flat Earth, you end up at Flat Earth Society nonsense. You know, disc floating in space. That's ridiculous. But then you start seeing these things, and then you go out and verify yourself. Don't believe anything I say. Don't believe anything anyone says. Look at the evidence. On the app, if you go to the web button, the one that looks like a spider web, and that's the more resources page. By the way, the second on the left, there's instructions. I just did a new 2-hour video about everything on the app if you want to learn about that. But my favorite one is full-length videos, right there. Full-length flat Earth videos, FE movies. There's a great playlist there. And just start watching that. Share that list with somebody. When you share with somebody, if I click that it brings up all of these great videos. These are all videos that Google will never share with you. And you could either pick one from that video, share it with somebody, or you can just click the share button at the top and share the whole playlist with them. And so if someone asks you, like, all right, where's your flat Earth proof? Just say, watch the first 3 videos in this playlist. It is scientifically impossible to believe in the globe after watching the first 3 videos on that list. But the problem is getting somebody to watch them. That's why my channel, DITRH, stands for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, is, my videos are, like if I put out a 7-minute video, people accuse me of making a documentary. My videos are all short, right? Because getting someone to watch a movie on something they think is stupid, that's 2 hours long, hour and a half long, they're not gonna do it. But say, watch this 3-minute video, watch this 2-minute video, and then watch the one after it, then watch the one after it, and now you're addicted. It's just like a crack dealer.
Any more questions? Idiot. There you go. You're Mr. NASA, aren't you? Right, just before we let this gentleman speak, he contacted Dave a couple of days ago. And this gentleman used to work for NASA for 25 years, was that? 15 years? 20 years, 4 years, okay. Anyway, Mr. NASA, what's the question?
Wait, before he tells the story, he contacted me on LinkedIn, and he asked me a question, and he said, "I'd love to meet you," and I said, "I'm gonna be in the UK," and I go, "Are you awake?" And he's like, "Hell yeah!" And so I told him about this, and I said, "Can you make it?" He goes, "Well, let me check." 5 minutes later, he goes, "The wife says we're going."
Yeah.
Talk nice and loud into the mic.
Hold it close.
It's the end. There you go.
You gotta kiss it.
Okay. Yeah. So you're not crazy. I used to work for.
Just speak loud, and if it works, it works.
I used to work for NASA about 20 years ago. For 4 years, we worked on a project where I was basically the main person building the prototype for analyzing flight data to look for anomalies that could lead to safety issues. The project is still considered a state-of-the-art technology today. So what they're doing today, 20 years in technology is a lot of stuff. So we looked at tens of thousands of flights, including transatlantic flights, and there was nothing to show any curvature in any of them. Right? If you look at the altitude, takeoff, high speed ascent, low speed ascent, cruise, flat. Okay, even if it goes. I didn't know about flat Earth back then, so I didn't look for like sudden flights. But we had transatlantic flights. They're all flat, and then they land. If you look at airspeed, ground speed, lateral speed, we had hundreds of sensors we're looking at for every second. There's literally zero evidence of any adjustment for curvature or trajectories being like they show you on the maps. No, they fly straight, like literally straight. And they're very strict about everything because safety is such a big issue. So, yeah, no, I can't get it.
So did you did you ever question curvature, or it just didn't come across your mind?
No, it didn't come across my mind because everything was treated as if it was flat. But we also worked on radar data, which technically you get the lat long of the flight coming in. But when I asked them, do we need to, you have to make an adjustment from lat long to like make it to a flat plane if you assume lat long is curvature. And they said, don't bother with it.
Don't bother. So let me ask you a question. You know, we use a two-dimensional XY latitude and longitude tracking system on this three-dimensional world. Shouldn't there be an X, Y, and a Z axis if the Earth is a globe?
There's nothing like that.
There's nothing like that.
I also worked with, for example, with British Gas for all sorts of things. And the maps they're using here, you know, for how they do the pipes and everything. They use, England has something that it's really like a flat grid. It's not, they don't use like any projections or anything. It's literally a flat grid, and they call it northerns and easterns or something like that for how many kilometers this way, how many this way.
Wow.
Interesting.
I also worked, before that I worked for the Air Force. Well, a small contractor for the Air Force. I lived in the US for 10 years, and what you said about the balloons is true. Like they have a grid. So most people don't know, but planes cannot fly from wherever they want to wherever they want. There's things called airways. So there is a grid, and they have to fly on that grid, including the military planes. So this is for logistics. And at any point in this grid, every day they get update on what the temperature is, everything.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing.
Oh, and I have one other story.
Just speak loud. Speak loud.
It's not flat Earth, but it's related to what we're talking about. Because flat Earth is not just about the shape of the Earth. So about 17 years ago, I ended up at the dinner, sort of family dinner, where one of the guests was the assistant director of the WHO that was retiring to Uruguay or Ecuador. Okay, and he said, well, we don't have a lot of time to talk now, but because he thought we're like family or something, but we're just friends of the main guy who invited us, who was the former lead of the team who created the GMOs, which for some reason we ended up at his party. So this guy, the assistant director of WHO, said, I don't have a time to tell you a lot of things, but if there's one thing I want to tell you, and I'm telling all my family and so on, is do not go to the doctor in the coming years unless you're desperate.
Nice. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Speaking of curvature, I want to mention the SR-71, which is the spy plane that goes 2,300 miles an hour, which is just super fast. At that speed, it cannot turn or it'll break apart. It just goes 2,300 miles an hour. 2,300 miles an hour over the Earth. It would have to nose down 80 stories a second. It's 80 stories a second. That would plaster them like pancakes on the ceiling. 80 stories a second to follow the curve of the Earth. The reason your mind short circuits is because you can't even fathom that. But these things fly straight and level, and there's no curvature.
Not a question there, though.
Go ahead.
Hi there, my name is Eric. I'm from Venezuela. So
You have come a long way.
I know.
Thanks for traveling
all
here.
the way, 5,000 miles to go and see.
Yeah.
Was it curved or?
I didn't notice anything. It looked completely flat. And my girlfriend told me the same when she went to Germany. She's like, you know what? It looks completely flat to me now when I think about it. I was like, it is. Dave, I wanted to ask you, because obviously the consequences of this deception are so huge on all of us. Obviously, we need to seek some way of fixing it. And obviously, sharing the truth is amazing. So I was wondering, have you heard of someone called Michael Tellinger? He's a flat earther.
Yeah.
What do you think of what he's offering? Like his project? With
his one small town. Yeah, it's a great project. It's just, I always say, God bless people like him, and as many people that can help him and do that would be great. I just say, people like have grandiose plans. Hey, we're gonna get everyone to get a boat and go on the equinox, go to the equator, all around the earth. I'm like, try getting everybody watching a live stream that they love when their hand is on the mouse to click the like button. You can't do it, all right? And they don't have to get off their couch or move their hand to do it. So it's a great project. He's great. My goal is to wake people up. Everyone in this room, everyone that knows about Flat Earth is unplugging from the system. We're unplugging as much as we can. There's more and more ways to do that, but we don't need to take over the government. We need to ignore the government. We need to make them powerless, because the only power they have is in our imagination. And the truth is the truth, and a lie only can live in your mind, right? So they don't want us knowing where we are, who we are, the true power that we have, the power of our mind. And that's the biggest deception of all. So literally overnight this could happen. It's someone with hundreds of millions of followers tweets out, check out this Flat Earth video. It could be anything. Then it's over. Because when the genie, what would it take to put you back in the globe model? Can anyone think of anything?
No.
You can't. Right? You're willing to go back. You just can't fathom of a possible way to do it. So it's out of the bag. So they don't care about us right now. They care about us waking up other people. So they're censoring us online. They're doing everything they can. They're putting out false propaganda. This final experiment, if it actually happens, they're going to run with a fake story, just like, Mike Hughes killed himself trying to prove the Earth is flat in his rocket. He was not trying to prove the Earth was flat. He was trying to break Evel Knievel's record of a steam-powered rocket jump, and he just happened to have a flat Earth sticker on the side of his rocket because he needed funding, and we're like, hey, this will be fun, and we funded him just for people to go, flat Earth, what the hell's that? So the media runs with this fake story, and everybody repeats it. So if the final experiment does show a light skirt around the horizon, they're going to say flat earthers prove the earth is flat but don't like the results. And that's going to gatekeep a lot of people. So it's up to us to wake up people any way you want. I don't know, the best way might be getting on the app, right? And it's get to read all my text messages. That's nice.
We saw the one about anti-aging. And the Viagra one.
I think that our future is in the way we see it. I think the world is going to split into two worlds: people that are lost in the matrix, living in their 15-minute cities, and us, and other people that are awake and aware. But they need our permission. They can't break natural law. That's the thing. This is my belief. A lot of people, if you really look into it, I was like, why don't they just kill us? Why don't they? Why do they need us to approve of these wars? Why do they need us to bang the war drums? Like after 9/11 in America, I banged the war drum. I'm like, we gotta get those guys. They need us to put that energy in there. But if we ignore them, we all know that nuclear bombs don't exist. I assume all of you. If you don't, go to my website, flatearthdave.com. Go to the nuclear bombs banner and listen to those videos, and then you'll be like, holy crap. So think about this. You're watching the news. Don't do that. It gives you cancer. And they mention Putin has got his warships, and it could be nuclear bombs. You listen to Mike Adams, who puts out lots of great stuff about health, but he's like, nuclear bomb is going to get us all. And you need your food supplies that are pre-radiation food versus post-radiation food, right? That, if you believe in nuclear bombs, all of those stories put you at very dis-ease, right? Every cell in your body is scared. Even though you're dealing with it, every cell in your body is upset. But if you know the nukes don't exist as described, you laugh, you giggle, like, that's funny. You know, when they're like, Putin's gonna blow us up, like, you're a moron, right? I see clown noses on these people, you know, and curly colored hair. And if we get out of that fear mode, if we get into making this world what we want, they need us to create their crappy world, and I'm not participating. So, you know, and you could all do it. It's easy. You just have to put your, you know, they don't put the cart in front of the horse. You got to put the manifestation in front of the thought, in front of the action. You know, it's backwards. Work hard your whole life, save your money, and then retire. And what they mean is work hard your whole life, take hard drugs, get sick and die, right? The truth is you can create an amazing world for yourself. I'm doing it, and your only enemy is you. You're your worst enemy. I'm my worst enemy. Everything in your life is your fault. Everything. So.
Yeah, I wanted to also say, before I started, I wanted to say, because nowadays I don't watch films, I've not watched a film in how many years, I don't know. So the only thing I put on my telly is just flat earth stuff. So you've been the main rock star of my television for the last couple of years.
Oh man. You know, a lot of times I'll be out in a restaurant and I'm not even talking about flat earth, and someone's like, I hear Dave Weiss, right? and it's like my voice, I guess, is very distinct.
And I just wanted to give you a little bit of constructive feedback. Because,
oh boy, here we go.
I'm sorry, you're gonna get it.
Hey, why don't you go do it yourself, man? Let me hear it.
And every time you get asked the why do they do it, you always go with God, which I don't disagree with.
It's not always it.
At all.
It's not good, but what else?
I just wanted to say that to me, considering we're in a world of atheist people, it's really hard to like, you know, to find that sort of, you know, when you say God or Jesus to them, they switch off, that's it. So to me, we sort of have to go into being more materialistic, because that's what they are. So we have to like point out like the banking scam,
right.
all the lies, all these other deceptions that actually do affect them more than the shape of the earth, because they don't realize that's like a package.
The shape
it's a package, you know what I mean? It's a package of lies, and flat earth is like the foundation of all the other lies.
The shape doesn't matter. It's the lie. We're our position in it. And, you know, besides hiding God, hiding creation, hiding your true power, they could be hiding more land, more resources. What are all the wars about? Land, resources, and power, right? What if there's more land, resources, and power, other civilizations beyond Antarctica, right? But the thing is, I always say, you don't have to speculate what's beyond where we're allowed to go in our prison, in our open prison, to prove the earth is flat. We can prove that from this room right here. You don't need to go very far. You can do your own experiments. But you know, sometimes the outer lands will wake people up. I'm going to be on Roseanne Barr. I recorded already. It's going to be July 4th, I believe it's airing. And the thing that woke her up, Eddie Bravo was explaining flat earth to her, and she just was like, I don't know. And he's talking about more land beyond Antarctica, and she's like, what do you mean, underneath? And he explained it, and all of a sudden she goes, oh, I get it. She had this moment. You saw the clip, right? I clipped that out, and it kind of went viral. And so she had me on, and we had a fantastic conversation. We went a half an hour over the hour, and she already invited me back for another show. So I think that one's gonna wake up a lot more people. So, you know, I ask people, if you see a podcast that's talking flat earth, throw my name out there. Say, get Dave on your show, or anyone else you want, or go on it yourself. Just, if we all get out there and do this thing is over this year. Okay, we're at that hockey stick curve, right? Right now, we're about to hit 200,000 people on the Friend Finder, and I say this time next year there's going to be 2 million, and then a couple months later it's going to be 10 million. So it's going to go that fast if they don't blow us up with nuclear bombs.
Fake nuclear bombs.
Fake nuclear bombs. And by the way, they can fake it. Let me just tell you one quick way that they can make it. Blow up a big bomb somewhere, nobody dies. Crank up 5G towers so everyone gets sick and gets radiation poisoning, and they say it's a nuclear bomb, the entire world will believe it. Okay?
Dave.
Yeah.
Tony the pilot here. I just want to thank you.
What the hell are you doing here? This is a flat earth room.
I'm still at 20,000 feet. I've never come down. I just want to thank you for everything that you do and you've done. I really do appreciate it, and I want to let you know, and I think everybody here will probably feel the same. The thing is that I know that in your past you did DITRH, which means that you know about all of the conspiracies that are going on. Nevertheless, now you concentrate on flat Earth. And I'm great, because I want to hear more and learn more about flat Earth. But in recent times, I've noticed that there is a trend now that people within the flat Earth community are starting to divide back into loads of different conspiracies and not spending so much time on flat Earth. So when you want to go and listen to a flat Earth podcast or whatever, it often ends up talking about Tartaria or mud floods or this, that and the other. And I'm finding that we're being divided.
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking that what you're saying is we're going to have a tipping point, but more and more people, if they come along but then are divided, then that, I see great danger in that. We can go all the way from denodal to what's happened recently with Karen and all the others. It's still happening. It's happening in front of us.
Right.
And I think we've got to recognise this and maybe do something about it.
Well, here's the thing, you can't control other people, and if you try, you're gonna waste all your energy. You just do the best that you can with what you have. I'm a big fan of what they call Tartaria. I call it Old World. On my website, flutearthdave.com, there's a link, if you haven't seen it, Old World Order by Sean Hibbler, who made the Level series.
Excellent.
And excellent film. There's a cameo from Ian might be in there. But Tartaria leads people to flat Earth. A lot of people that won't look at flat Earth will look at Old World and they're like, oh, like crap, they're lying about that, and then they'll see it. So I don't mind the split, but then there's all those people that say anyone that talks about Old World shouldn't, is an idiot. Ignore them, because you can't change them. Just go with the truth, and the truth will lead people there. So yeah, people are gonna get divided. Just do your best to put out the information you want. Now, the reason I went from all these other conspiracies, which I'll still talk about, to flat Earth is because I had a thing called Exposing the Big Three. It was Sandy Hook, Boston, and 9/11, because those three things are provable beyond the shadow of a doubt. And I think you wake people up to that, then they're going to see it all. And people wake up to that, and they're like, well, the administration's changing, and that was just some bad people, blah, blah, and they go back to sleep. But you wake someone up to flat Earth, look at you. You're coming from all over the place. You come here every month, right? Because you can't put it down, because this is the one that affects every single person on Earth. So that's why I'm focusing on this, because once you see this, you can see all of the other ones. And for those of you that are interested in the other ones, stoplookthink.com. All the stuff is there. I've been archiving it all there, stoplookthink.com. So, a lot of times I'll go on a show, talk about flat Earth, and like, well, what do you think about the vaccine? What do you think about 9/11? What do you think about Sandy Hook? And they're trying to divert because they don't want to look at flat Earth, right? So it's different for everybody, but flat Earth is the one that unplugs you from the matrix. Flat Earth is the one that you can't put down when you see it. Right? Flat Earth is the one that affects every single human on Earth every single day, forever, and you never forget about it.
And something we've found recently is people from the mud flood and the Tartaria are going to flat Earth. They're not always flat earthers that understand Tartaria first. It's sometimes the other way around. It's the same with the vaccine people. They weren't awake. They woke up to the vaccine. They're coming straight to flat Earth. So there's a massive awakening now, and I think all of the conspiracies and the things that are happening to us, we're all finding out. They're all interlinked, they're all done by the same peoples, or the same entities, whatever you want to say. But eventually they all go to flat Earth. They have to, because that's the biggest one of them all.
So this, when I was coming down here, this popped up on my news feed today. I mean, there's articles, they're AI articles mostly, that come up. This one. This is how many British people believe the Earth is flat. I think the number was 5 or 7%, just over 3%. 3%. All right, you guys can do better than that, but 3%'s good. 3%'s good.
It's 2019, though.
Yeah, the little 2019. It's more. So get it up to like 15, and I'll come back. All right. But there's stuff coming out all the time, and the more they put out their stupid propaganda, the more people wake up. Right? Because they're like, wait a minute, this is stupid, and then they'll look. right? You have to get people to the videos that they're hiding, and if you get them to watch a video, whatever it takes. You know, if it's your kids, I don't know, offer them money, offer them a dinner, pizza party, whatever. Just say, watch this, discuss it with me, and I'll do whatever. You know, whatever it is. Do something that motivates somebody to pay attention. And then once they see it, they can't unsee it. Are any of you ever going to forget about Flat Earth? No, you're not.
We do still, Dave, we have a few people in the audience who are going through some really difficult times with their partners about Flat Earth.
Oh, yes.
So, you know, any sort of advice, I think, because you can't really sit down with your husband who you've been arguing with or your wife and say, listen, watch this video, just watch this video. What do you think the advice could be?
Well,
apart from divorce.
I mean, I have lots of creative ideas, but you know, maybe tend to do something kinky, tie them up, and then show them a Flat Earth. You know, here's the way I look at it. If somebody is intelligent, which hopefully you're with intelligent people, and they love you, just say, this is really important to me. Can we work out something? I'll do something you like. If you do, like, hey, let's watch this one video, discuss it, and then we'll go out to dinner, or something like that, you know? Just whatever it is, just get them to watch a video and discuss it and say, hey, maybe you can educate me. You know, there are ways to do it. Now, if they don't want to do that, that's their own call, and then that's up to you. Here's the problem. We have the advantage because it's possible for us to wake them up. It is impossible for them to put us back to sleep. So they will never get their Glober back. But you have more than a 50% chance of waking them up. Either they will or they won't. So 50%, maybe it's more, right? So, you know, you have to think of something creative. If they're unwilling to have the discussion, maybe it's only 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes a week, an hour, one movie, you know? Make it fun. And that list from the Flat Earth movies, just say, hey, let's watch it. It's really cool. We can discuss it. It'd be fun. I mean, you're a couple. You should be able to have conversations. And if they're unwilling to do it, you know what needs to be done.
Right. I just wanted to say a couple of things. No questions really. So this is my mum. And she won't say that the earth is flat, but I've been chewing her ears off for the last 3 years. Today is actually the day that I decided the earth was flat, on the 25th of June, which was the day I moved house. So 2 weeks before the moving date, I decided to really dig deep and look into audio videos. And from there, I found DITRH and all these other flat earthers that I'd not heard about before, because the first time I saw you had an interview with Charlie Ward. And I watched that and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That was March 2021, and kind of ignored it, went to a lot of the protests, and then it was, those 2 weeks before the moving date 3 years ago. So my point is, my mum is coming to the Sounds Beautiful Festival.
Nice.
And by the end of this week, or my mum is saying that the earth is flat.
She has a pin.
Anyone going to the Sounds Beautiful Festival?
Challenge accepted, yeah.
And a little bit of plug for myself. I'm actually DJing That Sounds Beautiful.
Nice.
Thursday 7 p.m. and Friday 8:30. And I'll be playing old school house music, that kind of thing. So good vibes, freedom related.
Nice. Beautiful.
So yeah.
Sounds beautiful.
Excellent. Are there any more questions? Come on, let's get it on in here.
In the back.
Yeah, one in the back there.
First time at this particular event, so it's been really interesting. Like I said to your wife earlier, I've seen a lot of your videos. The common thing is, and I've purchased various other things over the last few years, particularly since 2020, but the demographics around this room, we're all of a certain demographic, bar a few exceptions. So the younger generations, the sort of 16 to 30-odd-year-olds, are the ones that really are probably mostly unaware.
Scream.
You gotta keep it close.
Just keep talking, but talk loud.
Keep it close.
And they're the ones that basically
need to wake up very quickly because it's their world that is going to be affected.
Agreed. So I've done a bunch of high schools. So if you go on the app and you go to the search bar, the search magnifying glass, and just type in high school, I think, H-I-G-H, let's try high. Right, search high, up come well, that's a wide search, but I guess I have to type in high school. Let's see if it comes up. I'm assuming it's gonna come up. Yeah, there's some high school ones, boom. And they're quite receptive. I did a couple of classes where they had like crazy radical people on. I was that guy, and a lot of the kids contacted me afterwards, like holy crap. So I've been doing more and more of those. There's some brave teachers out there that are willing to have me on, and the kids are waking up. They're talking to each other. The problem is the indoctrination at that age is so strong. It's amazing. You want to get your head chopped off? Go to a 10-year-old and tell them the earth is flat. Okay? It's unbelievable what they'll do to you. I was at a wedding, and I'm sitting there, everyone's dancing, and there's this one kid, he's like, I don't know, nephew or whatever, and he's at the table next to me, and I started talking to him, and I said, you want to hear something they're not going to teach you? I was talking about school. I said, what are they teaching? Science. And I said, want to hear something they're not going to teach you? I go, the earth is flat. Holy crap, he went off on me, throwing out all of this, just all of the propaganda that he was taught. And I was like, wow, it's wow. So you have to get them at just the right time. You have to show them something that gets them, and kids will click. But the thing is, what do kids want? They want the easiest way to get an A, and that's not saying the earth is flat.
On TikTok though, they did have like 3.4 billion searches.
Yeah, TikTok is crazy. A lot of people don't like TikTok. They say it's shortening your attention span. It is, absolutely. All right, but we have short attention spans where the normies are fluoridated and overworked and just trying to get by and don't have an attention span. So let's hit them with some short TikToks, because once they start watching them, they start watching longer videos. TikTok has woken up, I think, more people than YouTube has at this point. And it's these short videos. My videos, DITRH, could be all TikTok videos because they're all short. So I'm not against it. And the algorithm on TikTok, they're starting to crack down on it. There's people that would put out a great video, and in one day we get 4, 5, 10 million views. Now, as soon as they start going viral, they get shut down. So they are getting onto us there. But now we are at critical mass. We are at a mass big enough where, if everybody just woke up one person a week, it would be done before the end of the year, right? It would be done before the end of the year. This is where we are right now. Let's take a look. Oops. That's pretty damn good. Look at that. Woo. This is pretty crazy. If you look at a worldview, oops. If you click on the bottom left, the counter, it gives you a worldview, and you can take a look. So it's growing, right? It's growing. I remember there was only a few dots around here. So we're at that. Imagine if everybody made an effort to wake up one person a week. That's crazy. The geometric progression, the whole Earth would know before, October.
Sorry.
Come on.
I'm a terrible.
Well, on the topic we were speaking about partners, I'm thinking now along school children. I have 2 teenagers at home. One will be not receptive to listen to anything. The younger one, however, is. But I find myself in the situation where I'm not sure how to approach it. And I wondered whether I could get some advice there. So you have gone into high schools. How did you actually start to breach that topic? And how did you even get the teachers on board to let them do that?
Well, that's the tough part. First, take your kids out of school, but a lot of people can't do that. So if you keep your kids in school, it's fine. If you're homeschooling them, I think that's a lot better, but that's me. Teach them both models. Hey, this is what the Rockefeller-funded textbooks that they monopolize teach you, and this is what other people think. Which one do you think? Here's what happens is kids, are little geniuses. They're born, they're taking in everything, they're learning languages, they're experiencing the world, right? And all of their senses are telling them what's going on in the world, and they're standing there at the pond fishing, and the pond's level and it's not moving, and then he goes to school and they goes, oh, no, you're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, you're orbiting 66,000 miles an hour, you're traveling across the universe at 500,000 miles per hour, that's moving sideways at 2.5 million miles an hour, but you can't feel any of it, and none of the stars ever change. You break a kid's mind with that. You break it. Then, and his time off, he gets to watch movies, Star Wars, Star Trek, all of the stuff, all the space propaganda. His entire foundation is based on that. So try taking a ball away from a kid, try taking a ball away from a big kid, right? And it's just not pretty. So I say teach them both, right? I think I have a good illustration if I type in ball. Is that on there? Let me see. This guy, yeah. Try taking a ball away from a big guy. It's like a little kid because their entire world foundation is on there. So teach them both. Tell them to trust their own senses because school will tell them not to trust their senses. And once you see that, it's really. If I had kids right now, there's a 0% chance I would let them go to public school. 0.
Well, I will bring my 12-year-old to the Sounds Beautiful Festival.
Are you going to bring him?
So, but only on Thursday night.
Okay, make sure he comes over and says hello and tell him that,
So,
he
can I add that to the challenge you already were given by AD?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. He knows what Bitcoin is, right?
Well, he has heard about it. But
Well, tell him he has more money. He'll be rich. He'll be the richest friend he has, right? And all he needs is one glow proof, and then maybe he'll listen for 5 minutes.
Right. I'm gonna come and see you Thursday evening.
All right.
We got another question over here. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I've got a question for you. Why don't you think more pilots don't speak out about their observations and just generally speaking out against the globe theory? Is it because
They like their
fear to
job.
lose their jobs, or is
Yes.
it because they don't want to be killed off or something?
No one's getting killed. We actually had a KLM pilot on the show Globebusters back in 2017. A senior pilot, transatlantic pilot, woman, and she did a whole demonstration. There's a video, I think you'll find it in the pilot section on the frequently asked questions page. And she did a whole show with us we saw her video about explaining how airplanes fly straight and level, all things just beautifully demonstrated. And then she came on Globebusters and we had a great conversation with her, and then the next day she was grounded and never flew again. So that's what they do. Alex Jones got fined $1.5 billion for talking about Sandy Hook. Who else is talking about Sandy Hook? All right, everyone stopped. Right, that's how they do it. So it's the same thing, scientists. How come all the scientists they're lying? They're not lying. They're going with a preconceived notion that the Earth is a ball. When they look up and they see that light, they go, "Wow, that light is 30 trillion miles away." Right? They don't even understand what that is. They don't understand what that is, and the ones that do can't go against it, or they lose their funding, and then their kids are homeless, and their wife divorces them, and or husband divorces them. I'm being sexist, and it's people are like, well, how come there's no peer-reviewed studies? Peer review doesn't exist. Peer review is, hey, if you disagree with us, we're not going to publish your paper. That's peer review, right? That's how it works. Oh, if you agree with us, we'll publish your paper. That's peer review. And people have a whole idea that it's, science is out to just learn more and more. No, science is out to reaffirm their preconceived notions of nonsense. Science is a real word. Flat earthers use science, right? But globers abuse it. They use scientism.
Pseudoscience, yes. Any more questions? Oh, just incidentally, in 2017, a Qantas pilot, did we do something with a Qantas pilot and he got fired?
Yeah.
Almost straight after, the Qantas, that was early, very
And
early.
the Qantas pilots tell us that in their lounge, they all know the Earth is flat. Qantas pilots are the ones out of Australia, and they're doing all the flights that make absolutely no sense. They've all figured it out, but they don't want to talk about it because they love their jobs. They get great benefits. They get, they fly for free all over the world, and they don't want to talk about it publicly because they want to just live in the moment right now and have their nice cushy lives. So,
any more questions?
I have a little. Oh,
okay,
good.
Oh,
no, I'll keep going. Whatever you want.
Okay.
Not so much as a flat out question, but I was curious, and you don't have to answer this. Have you ever heard of the conspiracy that Alex Jones is Bill Hicks?
Yes, I have. And I looked at it and I went back and forth for years and years and years. And I was on his show and saw so many things that really looked like him. But then I stood next to him. He's a foot shorter than Bill Hicks. Okay, he's a foot shorter. He's a foot shorter now. Maybe they capped him in his knees and made him shorter. I don't know. I didn't examine his legs for scars or anything. But I would, if gun to my head right now, I would say no.
I figured that it's one of a lifetime, like seeing you in person. I thought, and you've met Bill, you've met Alex Jones.
Yeah.
So,
have you heard the conspiracy that what's his name? The guy in the Truman Show, Truman. Jim Carrey is Joe Biden. He plays him, right? There's some videos on the TikTok is the fittest flat earther. It's linked in the app on the star button, fittest flat earther, and look for his Joe Biden videos. They're interesting. That's all I gotta say. They're interesting. I'm not claiming anything. I don't know anything. That person is that person is a really dangerous game to play. It's interesting, that's for sure.
Question, Dave, sorry.
We can't hear him. It's a NASA conspiracy. Go ahead.
The videos that are available on the app, are they also available on the internet in kind of like the same structured way?
They're just on. They're the ones on the app are 99% on YouTube. You just won't find them on YouTube. But every single one on the app. And most of the ones featured, if you go to the web button, where it says Web3, everything is backed up there. That's a Web3 server, blockchain server, and they can't be deleted. And so when YouTube shuts down all of the Flat Earth videos one day, if they do one day, within 24 to 48 hours, they'll all be back up, but linking to the Web3 server. But right now, YouTube is the easiest to share. It's the easiest to keep in playlists and everything. But I actually have somebody on several platforms taking every video, every playlist, and mirroring them on BitChute, on Brighteon, on the Web3 server. So we just will relink them up to the app. If you go to flatearthdave.com and go to must-see videos, all of the featured videos, if you go every day, there's a featured video. If you click the little play button next to the featured video, that brings you to this page, which has, this is all this month's featured videos. And if you click the little hamburger at the top, there's all the other years broken down by months. Go to October 2022, and here's all the videos from October. This is this is more information than anyone will ever need. But this isn't organized by category. That's just the order that they were featured in. The video search is the easiest way. The frequently asked questions is, if you're looking for a topic, it'll show you everything on that topic, and that's how it is for now. There is coming out a Mac version in a couple of weeks, hopefully. I said that a lot of times, but wait, there's one little thing that we need to fix. And literally today I was testing, this is actually an open source version for Mac and Android. For those of you that don't have App Store, have the Google phones, you'll be able to download the app directly from my website. It's exactly the same, and pay for it out, with PayPal, Venmo, or crypto or whatever, credit card. And it's just making it available to everybody, so.
One more question.
Go ahead, speak loud.
Regarding satellites.
Yeah.
So I'm also like a fully licensed radio amateur in this country, so like ham radio. So I did operate with what they call satellites, so it came exactly as they said. I could use it as a repeater, and then.
Is it moving?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving really
Could it be a
fast.
balloon?
It can be a balloon.
It could or it couldn't? It couldn't. Okay. Could it be a drone? So think about this. This is
I couldn't see it. I just
right.
tracked
So
it like that.
so think about this. This is how I am pretty darn sure it works, and I've had some people in the airlining industry agree with me, and other professionals and a lot of people are looking into this. So cell towers are all over the place, and the higher they are, the bigger of a circle they put out, and all these circles interlace, and you can drive for miles and miles and miles and never lose your phone call because you're going from tower to tower to tower to tower, right?
So this is different. I had a Yankee antenna that's very.
You're getting the signal.
And I had to.
You had to follow it. I get it. So follow me out here.
Not sideways or anything. I had to follow whatever I thought it was going to be in the sky, and when I was not there, I couldn't get signal.
What if it was just an airplane that had a satellite on it and it was up very high and it was sending a signal? Would you know the difference?
No.
Okay, so hear me out. So if cell towers could be 10 times higher than they are now, they would need less cell towers because each one would have a bigger circle, right? The higher they are, the farther a range they have, right? So people have satellite phones and now Starlink, right? Has anyone seen the Starlink trail go across the sky? I did last summer. We're like, what? People are like, what the hell is that? I'm like, Starlink, right? It's the Starlink satellites are small. Like this, it's hard. It's like the size of a person, the size of a school desk, right? Much smaller than the engine on on a jet fighter. I said you can put 30 in there. Some people are like, no, you can only fit 10 in there. Okay, 10, right? Right. So they're tiny. At cruising altitude of an airplane, 5 miles, 7 miles, you can't see the engines. They're too small. Starlinks are multiple times smaller and 350 miles up. And you think you could see those lights across the sky, right? So what are they? And wait, how does Starlink work if Starlink's working? The people say, well, satellites are on balloons. Where's the balloon getting their power? They do have tens of thousands of balloons up there. But to me, where's it getting the power? How's it being serviced? It kind of seems very much more random. What has the power source, the ability to be serviced, has the perfect altitude, not 250, 300 miles high where it's ridiculous, but 5 to 7 miles high. Airplanes, commercial airplanes. They have internet on the airplanes. That means those airplanes are connecting with towers, right? So if you have a satellite phone or Starlink, you're just connecting to either the closest tower, no tower, connects to the closest plane, it relays to another tower, and you can connect anywhere in the world. So your internet is coming from these airplanes. What's the first thing Elon Musk did when the Ukraine war started? He shut down Starlink over Ukraine because they had a no-fly zone. There was no planes over Ukraine, right? If they're not doing it this way, they are financially being irresponsible. It is way cheaper and way better than throwing friggin', you have to believe that a satellite can stay right over England while the Earth is spinning, orbiting, twirling and whirling in curved directions, 4 different directions, at all these crazy speeds, and that satellite is mirroring all of that and just staying over there, and it has enough power to get a signal and that's insanity. It's just stupid. Wilbur's like, well, math. That's how they do it, math. I'm like, shut up. Shut up. Airplanes.
Do you think it's possible that they figured out a way to attach something to the dome?
Absolutely. That's another thing. And
for this one, I had to adjust for Doppler effect.
Yeah.
Which happens like when the ambulance comes and the thing starts to.
Yeah. So in the 1980s, 70s, my father lived on a little island off of Puerto Rico, and we had one of those giant discs, like 15 feet wide. And you turn a little dial, and the disc would move to 6 or 7 or 8 different spots in the sky where it would pick up a dozen or 20 channels and all sorts of feeds, like wild feeds, like CNN news feeds that they're transmitting. And so, what are they connecting to? Satellites. Really? Are they connecting to satellites, or are they connecting to a spot on the dome? Think about this. the network sends a signal up to the dome. Bam, hits the dome. All you have to do is point a dish at that spot, and it'll pick up that signal no matter where you are. That signal, that's not moving. And then there was also a report NASA said that when they either hit it with a laser or a missile or something, when they hit the dome, it became a spot of energy that stayed like for years. Like it would have this energy. I forget exactly what they said about it, but they explained that's how they are able to bounce signals off of the dome. Fascinating stuff. Can't find the information anymore. But that might be how they did it, but it's certainly not a friggin' trash can following all of those crazy, ridiculous motions of the Earth, right? You have to believe that you can put something, the Earth is one of those little dots spinning around, and it's mirroring all of that? Are you kidding me? Yeah. So stupid.
And also, no one mentions Hubble telescope, because Hubble is not that far off from the space station. It's only a little bit smaller, right? But no one ever talks about it. You never see it. You never ever see it. Shouldn't you see it? Because it was made out of shiny reflective material, right? So it should be visible.
Well, it's too small, but whatever. It's so stupid. So
that much smaller.
So this is it's actually, I created that, but it's better than the James Webb picture. Here's another one. This one, that one's Canva app also, hold on. I made that one also. I think that's a real one. Is that a real one? No, I created that one. But it looks better. It looks better than what they have. How about that one? There. That's genuine. Mine are way better. Mine are way more believable. Okay? And I did it with a free app. I didn't even pay for the version of the app. Right? NASA gets $80 million a day. $80 million a day. Look, and watch, we can fly through space. Ooh, fly through space. That's so cool. Look at that. Right? Crazy. I actually took one sec. I took they had the deep space images, supposedly a telescope focused on a spot in the sky the size of a grain of rice for 14 hours. It tracked that spot, and it's called the deep space image. And they saw 500 million different galaxies, right? And you can find this picture on NASA, high-res picture, right? So I took that picture and I put it in my editor. And I did a slow zoom, a slow zoom into it, and then I was on a chat with Globers, and I said, "This is NASA flying through space. It's fake." And they're like, "No, it's not." And I fought with them, and they're like, "It's not fake, it's not fake." And then I showed them how I did it, and they immediately ejected me from the group. But it's just so easy. It's so easy to fake stuff like that, and that's all they do. They fake, they lie, and they strawman us. Go ahead.
Hi, David. Thanks for being here tonight. It's lovely to see you. I just wanted to ask a few questions on the fact that I used to be a flight attendant for 15 years. And I used to fly I lived in Dubai for 8 years. And we used to fly direct to USA, all like New York, Houston, LA, and the route would often change, quite often, and it could be going over France via Nantes, it could be going over the Arctic, and I'm just curious to know why that would be.
So Dubai is a big stopping point for southern flights going from like Santiago to Australia or New Zealand, and these long flights, they have to use these winds, and these winds change over the course of the year. They're very consistent from day to day, but over weeks and weeks and months, they do change. So there's lots of times where these nonstop flights that go from like Santiago to Dubai, then to then to Australia or down to the south, they'll cancel those flights because the winds aren't cooperating and they can't do them in that amount of time. The direct flight, the ones that don't stop there, but do fly over it. So they will move them, and now the technology has changed. Airplanes are going a lot faster, and a lot of times they'll fly out in the outer southern area because those are the fastest wind streams out there. And they have planes now that can go faster. The Boeing Dreamliner 727, I forget what it is. That's the one plane that does that Santiago to Australia trip, and it has 7 layers of heat-resistant paint. What's going on there, right? And if you look at it with those jet streams out there going 300 plus miles an hour, if they're not going in that jet stream, that means that plane is flying at like 300 miles an hour if the Earth is a globe, right? It makes no sense. When you look at the speeds, even if it's only a 200 mile an hour tailwind, these all work on a flat Earth, but globalists will say, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. On the app, in the frequently asked questions section, go to the southern, nope, that's rotation, the southern flights. Is that one? Southern flights is right there, right? Southern flights, and here are all of the videos that explain all of that. And we've had people on flights. We had Max Egan on a flight, and he was a Glober, and he was claiming that the Earth it doesn't make any sense when it makes perfect sense. And he took compass readings, and those compass readings worked perfectly on a flat Earth, made no sense on a globe Earth. So.
Can I also just quickly ask? I was a passenger on a flight from New Zealand to Chile, and that is more or less the same distance, time-wise, of flight from, say, Australia to Dubai. And yet you look at the flat Earth map.
It's greater distance.
Yeah.
So again, they look at the globe and they say, okay, the globe. Let's say they were both about the same distance on a globe, right? They're going to make one flying plane just take a slower route and one go a longer route. Wait a minute, airlines are in it to make money and get there as fast as possible. Bull crap. Airlines are here to do their thing that they do to move people around the Earth, but not expose the globe lie, right? So flights like that, they will literally, the longer one, they'll put it, it'll fly at 40,000 feet, 45,000 feet, and it hits these 300 mile an hour tailwinds. Add that in, now you got a plane that can fly 650 plus 300, 350, it's almost 1,000 miles an hour, while the other plane's going 500 miles an hour. Half the distance. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, we got a question here, Dave.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oceans and their tides. So, what's your explanation for what makes the tides?
Tides are fascinating. Again, on the frequently asked questions page, and on the bottom, I think, is tides. What about tides? The yellow one right there. Bam. There's some great videos on there. There's a thing called tidal nodes, where there's all these spots around the Earth that have no tide, and a high tide and a low tide circle around there. So that literally just gets rid of the global, the moon gravity theory. There's greater tides in the north, no tides on the equator, like the Maldives. They're like a foot above the water and they never flood. All right, what's going on there? There's some great videos that just came out, and again, more research needed. The top couple of videos here, talking about the waters of the deep, where the Earth is breathing in and out twice a day, putting these waters from the deep. It's all interesting. All I know is falsification is independent of replacement. We've completely falsified the gravitational moon model. There's higher tides during a full moon. There should be higher tides during a new moon because the moon and the sun are next to each other, both pulling on the tides. The official story that Neil deGrasse Tyson says, when the full moon's over here, and there's a high tide and my head is the Earth, there's a high tide here, there's also a high tide over here. Okay? He says, well, the moon is pulling the water away from the Earth. And it's also pulling the Earth away from the water on the other side. Okay? That's the official story. That's like telling somebody, the official story on 9/11 of Flight 93, it hit in Shanksville, it hit the ground so hard at such an angle that the ground liquefied, swallowed the plane so deep and re-solidified that they can't dig it out. You tell somebody that and they don't believe that that's the real story, but that's the real story. It's the same thing, the whole tidal story is ridiculous. Watch the videos on tides, and at the minimum, you'll know what doesn't cause the tides.
I've got a question which is related to this young lady who's an air hostess. I used to work in the travel trade for 20 odd years, and 40 years ago I used to frequently book round the world flights. But I could never get anybody direct from South Africa to Australia, and it's now not, until you look at a flat earth map, you can understand why, because it always used to go via the Middle East. And yeah, so that was my first.
Can I just quickly say there is a flight, there was.
Not that 40 years ago, yeah. You can see, yeah. And the other quick question I've got is, if there are so many satellites in the sky, why can we go to a certain place, wherever, in the country or where have you, and we can't get signal on our phone?
Correct. Right. Why is there no satellite service over the southern oceans or over the center of the Amazon, and where there's no?
Or just up the road.
Yeah, or just up the road. Right. It's fascinating. When I would fly down to the Caribbean, I would be watching DirecTV, and as soon as we get 100 or 200 miles off of the United States, they go, "Oh, we have to cut the DirecTV service because of contractual reasons. Where we can't get we're not allowed to pick up the satellite signal." Is it bullshit? It's bullshit, right? They're not able to pick up the signal because they're not close enough to a tower. But by the way, they're getting better. There's more towers. There's mid-ocean towers. There's like AWACS type planes and drones up there. So that they're filling in all of these holes, right? They're doing lots of stuff so people can't figure it out.
You even get that in an Anti-Town shopping centre. You go there, you can't get any internet.
Well, it's because the shopping center actually reflects the satellite signal and it pushes it away because of the geometry of the shopping center. You just need to educate yourself further. Okay, get a degree. Go ahead.
You may have done something on this already, but back in May, there was an event that sort of fascinated people all around the world, including Mexico, where they allegedly saw the aurora borealis. Now, obviously, they put that down to a particular solar flare, which only lasted for maybe a day or so. But obviously, it's more than likely going to be some sort of HARP experiment. My question is, do you think it's a HARP experiment? Are they using HARP to move the jet streams, and are they then using that information to feed into their sensors to track the jet streams and these various winds around for the flights, etc.?
So what's going on in the sky, from HARP to chemtrails and everything else, is way more than just manipulating the weather. It's manipulating our minds and our ability to connect with source. In my opinion, it's really a deep, deep topic. And it's just coincidental that that burst from the solar flare, and when we saw those auroras all over the place, happened to be the exact same days that they were firing up HARP to full power, right? The same thing during the eclipse, they fired up CERN to full power. Like, what the heck are they doing? This is way bigger than any of us in here even realize. It's way more spiritual. It's more, it's beyond what we're even imagining. My imagination goes way out there, but they fired up HARP, they admitted it, they told us. Again, they're telling us, they have to tell us, right? They always have to tell us. Revelation of the method, right? Because if an example like this, I think I just heard this today or yesterday. If somebody poisoned a bunch of apples and gave everyone apples and everyone died, they have to pay the karmic penalty of killing people. But if I had a sign that said poison apples free and you guys all ate them, that's your problem, not my problem, right? So they always have to tell us because they know. Right, whether you believe it's a spiritual war, whether you believe they have to tell us, they don't care because they know that they have to deal with these things karmically, if that's the right word. So I just find that that whole solar flare thing quite coincidental. Next.
Dave, we've got one more here. Yeah, and they've got to go over there.
Yeah, just going back to satellites. I can remember in a physics lessons at school in about 75, 76, reading in textbooks But obviously, orbit means you're actually falling around the Earth. So you have to be going high enough and fast enough. But I can distinctly remember that you could only go from east to west or with or against the rotation of the Earth. I forget what it was. But that's patently false because they go from south to north, north to south, every single direction.
So, there's no sort of polar satellites. They claim there's a couple, but all of the things we see in the sky are going east to west. They're circling around above the Earth. What they are, I don't know. Are they alive? I don't know. But think about a satellite. Satellites are in gravity. They're not floating in space, but their speed is matched with the rate of the curvature. So when it falls 10 miles, well, there's 10 more miles of curvature, so it really didn't fall anymore. So supposedly gravity's pulling it down, but it keeps missing the Earth, missing the Earth, missing the Earth, and it goes all the way around. Cool story, bro, right? But here's the thing. When something's falling, it speeds up until it reaches its hull speed or its maximum speed. Like if it's going through the air, it can only go a certain speed before the air will slow it down. In space, there is no resistance. So the satellites should be speeding up again and again. I had an argument with ChatGPT about this. And I'm like, if something's falling and there's no air resistance, will it speed up? Yes. Well, what speed does it speed up? It tells me the whole thing. Like, explain an orbit. It tells me what an orbit is, satellite orbit. Like, well, if a satellite's falling around the Earth, wouldn't it speed up? And they're like, oh, sorry for that. Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm like, well, then how does it say geosynchronous? And I literally went into a loop where it didn't know what to say. So, their rules, their physics say if something's free falling, it will speed up, right? If something's free falling with no resistance, like the top of the trade towers through the no resistance of the rest of the building, they went at free fall speed. It's crazy, right? So that was a little joke. So satellites falling around the Earth, it's literally one of the dumbest things that anybody can believe.
Just a quick question. Why don't you think YouTube have actually banned flat Earth videos?
I think it's like making martyrs, like if they did that, there would be too many people would wake up. But I think they will. I think they're going to get to a point, they had a Senate hearing a couple of years ago about disinformation on YouTube, and the one example they used was flat Earth. So at the Senate hearing, they used flat Earth, and they're like, well, we'll just put if you look at any flat Earth video, there's a Wikipedia. Flat Earth is an ancient, already disproven, but they never tell you how it's disproven. They just say it was disproven, and people are like, oh, look, Wikipedia said that, it must be true. So, why haven't they taken it off yet? Maybe it'll cause more damage. I don't know, maybe they can't. I don't know. There's just too many people, there's too much going on. Sometimes when they try to censor something, it makes it worse.
I suppose there's other platforms now too.
There are other platforms, but the thing is, Rumble, BitChute, most of the people there are already pretty awake. They're awake to a lot more. All of the people that are completely asleep to everything from 9/11 to Flat Earth are on YouTube. They don't even know about these other platforms.
I was one of those people.
Yeah.
I thought I knew a lot of stuff. And then
Globers think they know everything. Flat Earthers know they don't know most things, right?
Guy, you keep using the word gravity. Is that something you subscribe to?
No, I use the word gravity just because that's the word that they use. I'm a big electrostatics guy. Electrostatics, everything has electrostatic charge. The air around us, the food, this table, everything has a charge. The Earth has a neutral charge, or neutral or negative, you can call it, and everything above the Earth has a positive charge. Negative and positive attract. The Earth isn't moving, so it sets the downward direction as down. All plumb bobs are parallel. They all go down, right? So that sets the down direction. Now we can manipulate the electrostatic force. We can put a negative charge into something and make it go up. We can put a higher positive charge into something and make it go down, right? The MIT created the silent drone. It looks like a big milk crate skid, and it flies with no moving parts. It just changes its electrostatic potential. The XRT-3B triangular secret aircraft, the patent says that they're using electrostatics for lift and propulsion. So it does exist. We can manipulate it. We can test it. We can make things go up and down and forward using it. No one has ever done that with gravity. No one has ever done that in isolated electrostatics. So if you listen to mainstream says this. Ready? electrostatics are 10 to the 36 power stronger than gravity. You guys know what that number is? Because I don't, right? A trillion, you guys have heard me. How much is a trillion? A trillion seconds is 31,000 years. Trillion seconds. That's 12 zeros? 12 zeros. 12 freaking zeros, right? Add 3 more zeros, that's 1,000 times more than that. Add 3 more zeros, it's 1,000 times more than that ridiculous number. We're only to 18 zeros. We gotta get to 36. So 10 to the 36 power, and something that we can observe its force, we can measure its force, 10 to the 36 stronger than gravity. You know what that means gravity is? Zero. It's zero. It's absolutely zero. If there was only gravity at the amount that they say compared to the electrostatic force that we can measure, I can take a 45-pound dumbbell and leave it in the air and it'll never fall. It'll take 1,000,000 years before it would come down due to the weak force of gravity. That's what they tell us. It's ridiculous, it's stupid, it's not real, but that's what their gravitationalists say. So look into electrostatics, the gravity section, there's tons of information on there. You haven't learned anything, if you haven't learned about that. That's all I got to say about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're all a bit thirsty.
Hold on, I got something for Ian Page. For being a big sport, we have something I want to show you. I'll show you. Hold on, Paige. Hold on.
Please let it be good.
So if I go on my website, if you go to my website, hold on, where is it? Here we go. On my website, I've got these. This guy makes these things. They're awesome. These right here. These compasses, and he made a special one. I'm giving it to Ian. Made a copper.
Wow.
And this is a special DITRH version. Right?
Oh man, thanks very much.
Hanging on the wall. It's awesome. And then got the shirts. And the last thing is, the Globers love strawmanning us and making fun of us. They call us flurfs. Flurfers, stupid flat earthers. Flurf, F-L-E-R-F.
Thanks, man.
We'll give them the white one. We'll give them the white one. No, give them the gray one.
Would you like white or gray?
It's not my birthday.
White or
you know
gray.
that, don't
White
you?
or
I was
gray.
lying when
White
I
or
said
gray.
that.
Do you want white or gray?
Great, please.
Gray, right. And so I say own their stupid thing. So this is FLIR, Flat Level Earth Research Foundation. You're a FLIR. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all for
Wow.
all you do.
There you go.
How about that? Thank you very much. The inimitable David Weiss. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for David Weiss. Well, I've got my gifts, so thanks very much. Great to come. Listen, that was fantastic. Thank you, David, and thank you all for coming. It's been it's a pretty good night. We've got the Sounds Beautiful Festival. We're here for another hour or so, I think. Get some drinks, have a chat. Some of you have said you want photographs with Dave or selfies and stuff. Yeah, I guess if that's all right, Dave.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so, form a queue, do what you want, get your things. Thank you very much. We'll see you all at Sounds Beautiful. This time next month we have Dave Murphy, and it's our 2nd anniversary of Flat Earth Social. So thanks very much for coming. Thank you.
I need a medallion. No, that's a big medallion there.
I watched your videos for so long. I just watched your videos for so long.
Let's go out on the porch. I'll move in the background.
Oh, that'd be nice, yeah. How do you get rolling in?
Hello, darling. I didn't realise you were here to the halfway through. I didn't realise you were here. Like, why would you decide to live How are you, ladies? You already know each other, don't you? Yeah, no. Good. Oh, this is your first meeting? Yeah. It is. And that was particularly difficult. He started off hard, didn't he? I mean, quite often they will start off a bit easier than that, but he's just preaching. He was preaching as if everybody already knew, and obviously that isn't the case. So we've had a speaker before, not the Welsh one. Who was the one that was here before? Annie, how are you? Exhausting. Especially the time when I was looking, quite a nice place. No, you weren't here for that. So I sat over there.